This is the plaintiff, Joseph DeLuco. He says he hired the defendant to put a new driveway in for him, and a year later, the concrete was flaking and coming apart. The guy told him the concrete was behaving that way because he lived too close to the water, and the salt air eats it away. So why didn't the guy mention this when he did the work? You want to know why? Because it's not true. He's suing for $5,000, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Jose Barros. He says there's nothing wrong with a concrete job. He's been in business for 20 years and has never been sued for doing a poor job. The plaintiff has some nerve because he didn't even pay him in full for the job and he was going to let it go, but not anymore. He's accused of not having a concrete case. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000. The balance due on the job, harassment, and aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to put a new driveway in and says it took all of 1 year for it to start flaking and falling apart. But the defendant says the concrete is fine. It's the plaintiff who's flaky. It's the case of I got conned over the concrete.
Okay, Joseph DeLuco, you are suing Jose Barros and MJ Masonry for $5,000 that you want refunded to you on defective concrete work. You have a counterclaim against him for $5,000, $1,700 of it, a balance that you just noticed he didn't pay from 3 years ago, and $3,300 for aggravation and harassment. Okay, tell me what's going on.
I met the man through a mutual friend that works with him in William Floyd High School. And I told my friend I needed some concrete work, and he says he does concrete work on a weekend.
Okay.
So I said,
and you
all right.
needed concrete work on a vacation home?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. And he came to look at the job. He gave me a price, which we agreed upon, and I told him to do it.
Okay, and what was the agreed upon price?
$6,500 on one part of the job and $1,700 on the other part of the job.
Okay, and what was one part and what was the other part?
Well, I think the other part, the second part for $1,700 was for putting in cobblestones and whatever extra concrete work that had to be done, a little bit.
Okay, and the first part was
And the
for
first part was for the driveway, the main entrance, the back entrance,
what? Okay,
and that about covers it.
okay.
So he came to do the job on 8/19/07. Now, I'm only there in the summertime for a few months. So over the winter, which I'm not there, I came back the following year and I started to see the concrete picking up, lifting up.
Okay, that's 1 year after he did it.
Yes, I
so
called him.
did you call him?
Absolutely.
And what did he
well,
say?
I called him on his phone number, on his bill, which there's no answer. The phones are disconnected.
Disconnected, not
Yes.
no answer, it's disconnected.
Disconnected.
Okay.
Okay, then I got that. Then I called a friend that introduced me to him. Bill spoke to him that summer. All summer long, they still wouldn't come to see the job.
Wait, Bill spoke to him, didn't he get you a number?
No, he works with him.
Okay, doing this work?
No, they work separately.
Day job.
It's a day job, yeah.
So
He
you're
works for the
not,
Board of
you
Education.
don't make concrete by trade?
Not my full-time job.
Okay, so then what happens?
Another year went by. So now when I went back the following year, now I'm a little bit annoyed because now it's 2 years trying to get this guy to come and look at his job. So I finally told Bill, if you don't get him to come to me this year, I'm going to go to the school and see the principal and bring the attention to what this man does.
Okay,
With that, he came.
okay.
He shows up, comes to the job, and he tells me, you're too close to the water. The salt water is coming up from the ocean or the bay. It's getting onto the concrete. That's what's making it lift up. That's where all your problems are. I said, well, if that was the case, why don't you tell me before you did the job?
Right.
And that's about where it ends right now, really.
Okay, do you have pictures?
Oh, absolutely.
How close are you to the water?
2,000 feet.
What's going on?
When I hired the guy to do the machine, the excavator, to rip up the old driveway, the water come run from the ground. I told him, you're too close to the water. He said, oh, see what you can do it. As did the driveway, everything fine. The driveway came, he loves the job. He said, oh, I love the job, I love the job. When it came to pay, the end, he don't want to pay.
So what part did he not want to pay?
The $6,500.
Okay.
He gave me, I got the receipts, he gave me up front. I do it, give me half up front, a quarter, the job almost done, the rest.
So which payment did he not want to pay?
You don't want to pay the last one. He
Okay.
tells me, I pay your guys already. He never paid the guys. I walk away. He went in the house. 5 minutes later, he came back out of the house. He goes, I'm sorry to tell you, I found the money. I said, well, you got the money, Joe. I changed my pants. Yeah, I got them in the other pants.
Okay.
I said, now you talking about, now you.
Now that's funny. Okay. But you're counterclaiming for $1,700 that you
Okay.
say wasn't paid.
A neighbor next to him called me, say a week later. Joe see me work for the next neighbor, came by. He goes, I wanted my flowers, couple of stones done. I did his couple of stones, I did the job. When it comes to pay, you don't want to pay me.
All right, so then what happens? Does he ever pay you for the $1,700?
No.
Ever?
I called him
That
twice.
was back in 2007. How come you haven't tried
I
to
called him
collect?
twice, but I went through divorce, through aggravation. He's not, you know,
Who's that lady there?
is my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
She's does all the bookkeeper for me.
She does the paperwork now or she did the paperwork then?
She does the paperwork before.
Was she the reason for the divorce?
No.
All right, so
No.
that was just your lucky day?
Yeah,
All right. So,
you know.
all right, so then you never collected on the $1,700
No.
and that's what you have a counterclaim
No.
here for now. What's the
After that, I asked,
$3,300 for aggravation, harassment, not getting paid in a timely manner.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're not even aggravated or harassed. You totally just like let it go for
Okay.
all these years.
I let
Because
it
you
go.
had so much going on in your life. Okay.
okay,
Can I see all of the contracts that you have with Joe? And Mr. DeLuco, can I see all of the contracts you have with him?
I got insurance there for the job. No.
Did you not pay him $1,700 for a job?
It's there, paid.
But he's showing me 3 contracts.
Well, I only have 2, honey. I don't know where he's
Okay,
coming
well,
up
I'm
with
not
3.
honey,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
You would
Judge.
never say pal if I was a guy.
I
All right,
beg your
so now
pardon.
he's got 3 contracts. 2 of them are originals and 1 of them is a copy. Why?
Because I lost the other one. I got in the computer. What I do when as soon as I get home, see that all the work. I went through the
Stand up. Where's the original? Stop telling me about your divorce. Where's the
Okay.
original?
Every contract gets scanned into the computer.
That's the answer.
Okay.
Okay, so every original contract
Every
gets
original
scanned in the
contract
computer.
gets scanned
Then
in.
you're supposed to save the originals, but apparently he didn't save this original.
I still can't find it.
The 2 $1,700 contracts are as follows. One of them is for cobblestone installation, cement and labor by the driveway. And the other one is for cobblestones around the flower boxes, stoops behind the house, patio by the pool. And that one is $2,200 actually.
got that.
Paid balance $500 and balance due is $1,700 on August 26th. That's your signature on it. Take a look at it.
Yep, no, you relax. I'll come to you.
Is that refreshing your recollection?
Yes, I see my name there, but I don't recall
That's your
this.
signature,
I know
right?
he did the work behind the patio, which I have the bill for.
All right, do you have cobblestones both in the driveway and in the back?
Yes, they
Okay.
did all the
All right.
cobblestones.
Yeah, they're 2 separate contracts, and that's your signature, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, show me the photos. You showed me the photos. Here are the photos of the actual problem on the concrete. Can you come over here and show me what you want me to see in each of these photos? Now, here's what we're going to do. You're going to be here. All right. So show me what you want me to see in these pictures.
This, it's all starting to shade and pick up.
Okay.
You could see it in a number of spots. In fact, I might have more pictures back there.
Have you had a concrete company come and explain what it's going to cost to repair this?
Yes, I sent the bill to you.
Can you hand it to me here in court? And then we should see some cracks here. Please note these sections need to be replaced due to flaking from recent install. It wasn't recent, it was 3 years ago. Cracking due to more expansion joists needed. Now you didn't, so he wants to get paid to replace just those slabs? He wants to get paid this more than what he charged you to do the entire job?
Well, I don't know. That's his estimate.
Yeah, it looks a little bloated to me.
I know. I think so too.
So if this concrete starts to flake after a year or so, is that a bad job? Can you get your money back?
I think you should get your money back, yes.
Does concrete just flake? I know it cracks sometimes. Does it? Should it?
1 year. 1 year seems too soon.
Okay, you know what? I want to find out what happens with the judge. I'm interested in this one. Going inside the courtroom.
What's your answer to how this stuff is cracking? Because it looks bad. And it's
Okay.
3 years. You expect it to
Okay.
last longer than 3 years.
Okay, one question. Myself.
And he says, by the way, he says he was contacting you for the last year and that it wasn't until he threatened your job that you answered.
No, one question. My cell phone.
That's not true. He never
No,
contacted you.
not true.
Go on.
Okay. I went there, looked the job after I got the letters from the court. Okay. I look in the back. He's got a little bit flake on by the boat. He's got
Yeah,
a
it's a
boat.
lot. It's a lot. It's not a little bit. It's
Yeah.
not a tiny little speck.
I took pictures.
It's,
I
it's
got pictures.
significant.
Okay.
Can I see your pictures?
Yes.
Because nobody expects that to happen on a $6,500 job. So why do you think it's happening?
I called the concrete guy. I took the guy there. I show him. He said it's from salt from the water because From salt. In the wintertime.
Who said that?
My guy delivered the concrete because he complained, said the guy did a lot of water in the concrete. I don't mix the concrete, Your Honor. The concrete already come mix. The guy comes to
So
the
you
job.
called your concrete guy, the guy you buy the actual raw material from, and he says what?
He said he's from Salt.
Do you have a statement from the cement guy who
No,
says that?
no.
Okay. How many squares are we talking about? How many? I see a close-up picture of a part that's flaking that looks bad, and then I see a close-up picture of a crack. So how many squares are we talking about that need replacing?
From the back of the house to the front of the skirt, the outside skirt. That's what he's questioning.
Here are my findings, folks. I find a couple of things, okay? First of all, I don't think this should happen. And if I allow you to just say, oh, it's salt, then no one who ever lays concrete will ever be responsible for concrete cracking in 3 years, which it shouldn't. I don't think that that's acceptable. I also think that you know darn well that you had 3 contracts, because a person doesn't forget how many contracts they signed. And I think that's probably why time passed. I don't think that you spent a year and a half, 2 years trying to call a guy. I think that time passed because you also know that you owed him $1,700 that you never paid him. So maybe for a while you considered it a wash, and then all of a sudden you didn't, because maybe the cracking got worse at that point. I find that you owe him the $1,700, but I find that it's going to cost him something to fix this. I can't rely on this estimate of how much it's going to cost him. So this is the part of the People's Court where we do what, Douglas?
A little rough justice.
That's right, a little rough justice. I find that it's going to cost him about $3,000 to do it, but he owes you $1,700, so I find a net judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300. That's my verdict.
So here's the thing about concrete. It will sometimes crack when the ground shifts after the concrete is laid. So there's a certain amount of settlement that happens where you don't have recourse. But at a point when the job really does start to fall apart, and it's very subjective, but at a point when that happens, you could basically say it was shoddy workmanship and you can get your money back.